365 Sports.
Welcome back to another episode of 365 Sports Mizzou, presented by Rogue Media Network. My name is Davis Wilson here talking Missouri sports. We got some stuff to discuss today. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate everybody being here. Got a little bit of football to talk about. We got a little bit of basketball to talk about. Missouri basketball does go on the road and play Texas A&M tonight at 8 o'clock. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. That's a huge game, one of the biggest games of the year for Missouri, just in terms of positioning for March Madness. The bubble is crowded. The bubble is talented. The bubble is crowded. Missouri's going to need every win they can get to stand out amongst this group of teams. So this win is really, really going to be important if they can get it. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's start with football. There's a little bit of football news that we can discuss. The first being Missouri had six players invited to the NFL Combine, which is going to take place on February 23rd to March 2nd in Indianapolis, Indiana. I went to this event last year. I really enjoyed covering it. And, I thought it was super cool to kind of see the work. Seeing the workouts was cool, but the coolest part was getting to talk to the players and keeping up with the various things that happen throughout the day. I mean, it's a busy event, so it's pretty fun. And Missouri had a couple players go there last year that really raised their stock when they went. Armand Mimbu, his stock rose after the Combine big time. And this is the moment. I remember reading it like while I was in Indianapolis. People were taking notice and saying that this guy's a top 10 pick. Some were even saying top 5. And, of course, eventually he does go in the top 10. So I think that was a huge part of what I think it's a huge part about his success in the draft. His placement in the draft was how well he tested at the Combine. So that is one guy. Luther Burden's stock improved at the Combine. He ran the 40 well. He tested well, looked really good in the receiver drills. Ended up being an early second-round pick. So it's definitely possible to improve your stock at the Combine, and there's a couple guys from Missouri that I think can do that. The 6 players invited are wide receiver Kevin Coleman Jr., right tackle Keegan Trost, defensive tackle Chris McClellan, defensive end Zion Young, linebacker Josiah Trotter, and cornerback Toriano Pride Jr. Out of these guys, I think Zion Young, he's already had a fantastic offseason. He won MVP at the Senior Bowl, but I think he's going to continue to raise his stock here at this event. I think that he's just the type of guy, physically he's impressive, and I think those types of guys raise their stock at the Combine. He kind of pops off the field at you. So I think this can maybe, if he has a good Combine, I think this will solidify him as a first-round pick, which I think would be great. I think that Josiah Trotter, obviously, if he has a nice Combine, it'll help him. But it feels a little bit like linebackers are kind of different. Like you kind of know what you have with a linebacker more with the film rather than the physical stuff. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's just kind of how it seems. Offensive tackle is another position where the physical stuff can really help you. Keegan Trost has a chance to improve his Combine, just like Armand Mimbo did, or improve his stock at the Combine like Mimbo did. And he's definitely not as good of a prospect as Mimbo, but I remember one part of what made that week so interesting was seeing like how important measurables were. Like I remember people were waiting, like one of my jobs that week was like kind of checking on the measurements for Mimbu because it was such a big controversy whether he would be too little to be a tackle, so they'd have to move him to guard in the NFL, or if he would be a tackle where he played in college. And I remember it came out where he was just on the borderline and eventually obviously gets drafted as a tackle. But I never knew how important like the 1 inch in your wingspan or 2 inches in your height could be. And that was really an interesting thing to kind of discover. So that's something to look out for as well. Kevin Coleman Jr., another guy I think who did well at the Senior Bowl, who could maybe improve upon his stock at the combine. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to keep up with it. It was a lot of fun to be at and go to and cover, so that'll be cool. But that is kind of the combine news. Let's see. Let's talk about another piece of Missouri football news. We have Mizzou Athletic launches naming rights for Memorial Stadium. Basically, what this means is they're accepting bids from companies and brands, and if the winning bidder will get their name put on Memorial Stadium. But of course, the Memorial Stadium will be removed. It'll turn into Faurot Field at blank stadium. So I was thinking of like something fun that would. I think it should be Faurot Field at CJ's Wings Stadium. I think that is the only appropriate answer if you want to go real local Columbia. But more Missouri brands, I don't know, like Budweiser would obviously, like that's a big one. Panda Express is the founder of that went to Missouri, so maybe it'll be Faurot Field at Panda Express Stadium. That would be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think the biggest thing though is it's going to be a big deal financially for Missouri football. Like it's going to cost some money to get your name on the stadium, and Missouri, the program, Missouri's program will be able to use that and I just think the monetary thing is going to be a big deal. And, Drinkwitz's kind of discussed how he wants more support from local-ish companies, and maybe this is a good opportunity to get that started. Any way you can get a monetary advantage in college football right now is super important. So this is a big deal. Some people were concerned about removing the Memorial Stadium bit, and that is because they named it Memorial Stadium after the 100+. It was students and alumni and staff, I think, that lost their lives in World War I. Laird Veach answered this question, athletic director. He said they're going to find other ways to honor those lost lives in World War I. So there will be another they'll go about honoring those soldiers in another way, or veterans in another way. But that is a good piece of news. I think it'll coincide. I mean, if they find a good bidder, I think it'll coincide with the opening of the new stadium North End Zone project. So it'll kind of be a new era of Memorial Stadium, Faurot Field, which I think will be cool. And so a bit newsworthy there. Okay, last thing for football, just looking at some mock drafts, which is something I enjoy doing. Let's see. I was just reading The Athletic this morning. They had they released a post Super Bowl mock draft and had Zion Young going 19th overall to the Carolina Panthers. There was another one. There was an ESPN mock draft by Field Yates that came out this morning that had Zion Young going 25th overall to the Chicago Bears, reuniting with Luther Burden Jr., which I think would be pretty cool. So it does seem like, he's hovering right there in the middle to late first round. Like I said, I think a really good combine can work to his advantage. But it feels to me like my gut is saying he'll be a first-round pick, which is not something I necessarily expected. Not because I didn't think he was good enough, but because it didn't feel like he had a ton of national recognition during the season. Which, I don't know, I guess obviously you don't need that, but he was so good during the year and no one really took a ton of notice until his Senior Bowl outbreak. And but he's had a great offseason, and we'll look to continue that at the combine. That is all the football talk I have for now. I think. Anything else? I don't think so. I'm going to take a break, and then we're going to talk basketball.
Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. And when anything can happen during the Super Bowl, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid out in cash immediately once your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. I personally can't wait to see the matchup of the new kid, Drake May, and Sam Darnold, the veteran, in it to prove himself. New to DraftKings, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Agreed. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code SHOWPICK. That's code SHOWPICK to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-878-9777-7 or visit ccpg.org on behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas. Wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
All right, we're back. Let's talk Missouri basketball. Like I said, it's a big game tonight against Texas A&M. 8 o'clock on SEC Network in College Station. Texas A&M is 17-6 overall. They are 7-3 in conference play, good enough for fourth in the SEC. They're one game back of first place. Missouri is 6-4 in the SEC. They're 2 games back of first place at 7. So it's kind of a tight deal there. The regular season SEC standings don't really matter, but it is something to look at least. Texas A&M got off to a scorching hot start in SEC play. Won 7 of their first 8 in SEC play, with wins over LSU, Auburn, Oklahoma, Texas, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Georgia. None of those are crazy impressive. I think Auburn is a decent win. They won that game by 2. Texas is a good win. Texas is a tournament team. Other than that, I mean, Georgia is a good win. Georgia's a tournament team. Other than that, though, not a ton of really impressive wins. They're coming off of 2 straight losses. They lost by 3 in Tuscaloosa to Alabama, 197, and then they lost at home to Florida, 86-67, a blowout loss. So looking to avoid 3 straight losses here against Missouri. Missouri, on the other hand, like I mentioned, Missouri is 16-7 overall. They are riding a 2-game win streak. They've lost 4. This is a really, really big game for Missouri. The bubble is just so competitive. It really, really is. And this is the type of, like, a road win here against a tournament team would do wonders. Missouri is a 6.5-point underdog in this game. The over-under is 157.5. These are 2 pretty high-powered offenses. Texas A&M scores a ton. Missouri scores a good amount as well. Texas A&M is led in points by Rashawn Agee. He is averaging 14 points a game, 8.8 rebounds a game, 2.4 assists per game, 48% shooting. He's 6'7", senior from Chicago, Illinois. He previously played at USC last year, averaged 9.4 points. Before that was at Bowling Green. So kind of a bit of a journeyman, a 5th-year guy. And then other statistics for Texas A&M. Let's see, Ruben Dominguez, a sophomore guard, kind of a guard forward hybrid, 6'6", from Puerto Real, Spain, which is pretty cool. He's averaging 12 points on 2.4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, shooting pretty well. But he struggled in the last 2 games. He had 1 point against Alabama in 22 minutes, 5 points against Florida in 25 minutes. Rashawn Agee, on the other hand, he had 8 points against Florida, 21 against Alabama. So both those guys have kind of taken dips a little bit in those last 2 losses. Rylan Griffin, another guy that is a big-time contributor for the Aggies. Missouri's seen him a lot. Last year, he played for Kansas. averaged 6 points for Kansas. The 2 years before that, he played for Alabama. This year, he's at Texas A&M, averaging 11 points per game, shooting 43.8% from three, so a dangerous long-distance shooter. He scored 7 points in the loss to Florida, 17 though in the loss to Alabama. So he's been pretty good in recent games. A big name that has taken a step back this year is Pop Isaacs. He is averaging 10.5 points per game, but last year he averaged over 16 points a game for Creighton. The year before that, he averaged over 15 points a game for Texas Tech. So he has a lesser role, playing about 10 less minutes than he did last year, but still an experienced player. Pop Isaacs has he's played for some good teams. He's a guy that Missouri will have to take seriously. He had 17 points against Florida, 7 against Alabama. So that is kind of the situation for Texas A&M. They average 90.9 points a game, so they score a ton. They rebound well. They average 38.5 rebounds a game, 19.7 assists per game, 8.8 steals per game, 3.5 blocks a game, 11.3 turnovers a game, so pretty big number there. They shoot 37% from the field. From three, over 45% from the field. Compare that to Missouri. Missouri turns it over more. Missouri turns it over 12.6 times per game. Missouri shoots from the field better, but from the three worse. They average 10 points less. They average 80.3 points per game. Rebounding numbers are similar, 37 rebounds a game, 14.7 assists per game, 7 steals per game, 3.7 blocks a game. Missouri's going to have to be good defensively. They were good defensively last game against South Carolina. That has to continue here because this Texas A&M offense can hurt you in a lot of different ways. Like we mentioned already, they shoot the ball. They shoot the ball well. Bucky McMillan is their coach. They call it Bucky Ball. McMillan was at Samford last year. He's a good coach and has A&M clicking in their first year together. So there you go. Look, Missouri this is a tough week. Missouri has Texas A&M, and then they have Texas. 2 games against tournament teams. I really think that you got to win one of them. It's going to be tough, but maybe this is the one they try to get. The starters for Texas A&M against Florida were Sean Agee, Ruben Dominguez, Marcus Hill, who I haven't talked about yet. He's a senior from Illinois, averaging 11 points a game, scored 17 points against Florida in the last time out. Jakari Lane is a 6-foot guard, averaging 7 points a game, almost 4 assists per game. But the biggest guy in their starting lineup is Rashawn Agee, I think, at 6'7", I'm pretty sure. So just size-wise, Missouri really should be able to overpower Texas A&M. Obviously, they do have Federico, which is a great name, coming off the bench. He played at Texas Tech last year. He only plays about 10 minutes a game. He's only played in 22 games this year. He started 3 of them. He doesn't play a ton. He plays about 10 minutes a game, but he's tall. He has size. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him a little bit because obviously Missouri has a lot of size. Missouri is a big team. So they have him coming off the bench. They have 6'11" senior Zach Clements coming off the bench. Clements was another guy who's been at Kansas. He spent 3 years at Kansas before coming to Texas A&M with Ryland Griffin. Not a super menacing guy, but size. He has size, and that's something to consider. But overall, I think Missouri really does have the advantage size-wise. And that, to me, makes me think Mark Mitchell can have a good day. Like, who's going to guard Mark Mitchell? I think Mark Mitchell has to be assertive. Not that he ever has a problem with being assertive, but it's a really good opportunity for him to be very assertive. Sean Phillips, not a guy who plays a ton, and sometimes he's pretty effective, sometimes he's not. This feels like a game where he should have some success. It's because he's 7 feet tall, and he's very physical. But yeah, those two guys I want to see be aggressive. Trent Pierce, obviously, another very tall guy. Like, feels like he can shoot over some people in this one. The trick is going to be, matching their athleticism, because Texas A&M may not be very tall, but they have a lot of guys who are quick and can score. So defending that will be difficult. And we'll see how that goes for Missouri. But this is a big one. Would love to see Missouri get this done, because they're squarely on the bubble. ESPN's Joe Lenari put out a bracketology yesterday. He has Missouri as the second team out behind Ohio State, which, a win over Texas A&M, who he has. Let's see if I can find Texas A&M in here really fast. Come on. He has Texas A&M as an 8 seed. So if you can get a win over that squad, I mean, that is on the road too. It's just that's immediately one of your best wins of the season. It would go a long way. It would go a really long way. So hopefully Missouri can get that done. CBS Sports Bracketology has that was updated this morning. Still has Missouri as the last 4 in. So they're playing in the first 4 game as an 11 seed. The bubble, though, I mean, it's tough. TCU, who's another bubble team, just got a big win over Iowa State last night. Number 5, Iowa State. That's a big win for their resume. I mean, you're just kind of watching these other teams, seeing what they're going to do. Missouri's got to have a big moment. They've got to have a big moment. Their big moment came earlier in the slate, and that's fine. But recency bias is also another thing. Like the Florida and Kentucky wins are great, but getting a win now when you're on the bubble against Texas A&M or Texas or Vanderbilt or Arkansas or Tennessee, all those games coming up. I mean, it's a tough stretch. It's a really tough stretch for these teams. So for this team, I mean, and wins are going to be difficult to come by. You're not going to get many more easy wins. So a road win here against Texas A&M would be big. That's what I'll say. We'll see what happens, though, tonight at 8 o'clock on SEC Network. I will be watching, and I will be talking about it all tomorrow. I appreciate you guys for joining me. Happy Wednesday. Come back soon. Have a good one. I'll see you.
365 Sports.